Mr. McMullan, in the last 10 years, Australia's aid program has been quite explicit in acting in, quote, Australia's national interest. And that, if I could almost be rude about it, seems to translate to meaning that we have given aid to countries either that we need to suck up to or keep off our shores. There's some political reality in that, but you've talked about some of your priorities in terms of types of intervention that you're interested in, but can you talk a little bit about how you think the coming phase is going to change in terms of its regional interest, shall I say?
Okay, well, look, it's a very complex question that you've raised and very important. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't spend taxpayers' money in a manner that isn't in the national interest, but you can define it more broadly. And look, it's obvious that it is in our interests to have the small countries in our region healthy and stable. And so that at its extreme, that goes to situations like the Ramsey intervention in the Solomon Islands, which I supported and support. But it also goes to just helping those countries' economies succeed so that the people there live better lives, because we have a national interest in a peaceful, prosperous, stable world. So the problem is not that we defined part of what we do as being our national interest. It is about defining our national interest too narrowly. But our programs are designed to be a part of the great international campaign to fight global poverty. And we absolutely believe that that is and will serve our national interest. Now, it's not just national interest that says our aid program will be primarily in Asia and the Pacific. Of course, that's one of the reasons. We want to have good and friendly relations with all our neighbours, and we want our neighbours to be successful and peaceful and prosperous. So it's in our interests, but it's also more efficient. We do it better, closer to home, and we have, particularly in the Pacific, the rest of the world looks to us to lead. The President of the World Bank has spoken to the Prime Minister already about how we can work together in the region, because nobody else, with the exception of our friends in New Zealand, the rest of the world looks to Australia and New Zealand to take the lead in the Pacific, and they will try and slot in. So we will be primarily focused in Asia and the Pacific because it's where we do things best, and because we get the scale of activity that means that the balance between what we do and what it costs us to administer it is most efficient. But we are going to re-engage with Africa, and mainly because you can't be serious about achieving the Millennium Development Goals without some degree of engagement with Africa, and we will do that. But there's also a national interest element in that, for which I don't apologise. Australia needs to come to terms with the fact that it's also an Indian Ocean country, and that therefore what happens around the border of the Indian Ocean is important to us as well as what happens in the Pacific. So we will have an engagement with East Africa, we will have an engagement with South Asia, but we'll only be small players there. The European economy, the European countries make very major contributions there, and they'll continue to be the major participants. The other aspect that you'll see is that we'll be more engaged with the multilateral institutions, the international organisations, because we are a government that we are committed multilateralists, and that will be a significant part of what we do.